can. Alright guys, so the other day we went through the classic kind of just like a cross choke from the closed guard. So I'll just quickly run through that, what we did. So we're talking about if our partner's kind of sitting here and we're trying to do the cross choke. Sometimes if I'm trying to reach up and just grab the collar, I can't really get deep enough. And then I'm trying to sort of pull him down and his arms are making a bit of a frame. It's making it hard for me to get the choke. So what we were talking about was coming up onto your elbow. So bringing your elbow above your head and putting it under your body. And now bringing the hand inside the collar here. Cool? Then instead of pulling them straight down, we're doing a little bit of like a lapel drag to the side. So we're shifting our body to the side and then pulling down. And that creates a bit of an angle, makes it easier, just stay on the side, makes it much easier for my hand to go inside the neck now. Instead of being here trying to fiddle with it under here, like it's hard to get under, by pulling my body to the side and pulling down, it's much easier for my hand to go in underneath. And then as I come back into the middle, I'm working my thumbs in towards his ears, and a choke will be going on without me having to really do too much. Right, so I'm not ripping on his neck. So we're going to look at the other, so that's the sort of like a classic double palm up kind of choke. All right, we're going to look at the palm up and the palm down choke, which is, I actually prefer this one a bit better. It's a bit easier to get, especially on the mount, because you only have to get one hand in, but you have to do some little wizardry with the forearm. All right, it's not about as much about the grip as about the forearm. So basically what I do is the same sort of system. I'm going to get, if I can't get my hand up in deep in the neck, I'm going to bring my elbow above my head and suck it under my body so I can get a nice deep grip. This helps too if you're a little bit, how do I put this politely, short. All right, if you're a little bit short, I'm not looking anywhere. Right, so come up on your elbow, this allows you to get a better grip. Now this time, instead of pulling to the side, I'm going to come down on the opposite direction, right? Cool. So as I bring him down on the opposite direction, I want to bring my hand in to make the grip on top of his shoulder. The big mistake people make here is when they grip the shoulder, they just go straight in and grip the shoulder here, and now I've got to pull really hard with my arms to do the choke. So the way I kind of think about this is, I think about my forearm like a knife, and this is like a guide. So I guide my forearm down my other forearm until I make contact with my forearm against the side of his neck. So I go 1, 2, and I just run it down until this, almost like I'm cutting his head off here. So I should be able to just make a small grip now on his neck and then turn back, and then the choke will start to go on. Cool? So the big mistake is that people just grab and then it's loose. So they go 1, 2. And then they're trying to go here, but the choke's not working because they have to make the slack up between the ear or the side of the carotid artery or the neck and then the hand. You see, if I pull my hand away from Chris's neck, there's like, 80 mil, 70 mil of space I have to make up through force. So by making the hand come down like I'm chopping him in the neck, sliding down and then making the grip, it's going to be much better. Sometimes you don't even have that choice. You just grab the back like over the shoulder even. All right, but as long as your forearm is nice and tight to the side of his neck, when you make that grip, it's going to go on a lot easier. Now, when you're doing these chokes, it all relies on the grips and not your forearm and not your arm strength. Cool? So you need to manipulate your wrists. So if my hand is like this and it makes a cradle around his neck, like a little sort of a rounded part in my wrist here that cradles around his neck, the choke's going to be way more difficult to put the choke on. So what I do is I manipulate my thumb. I start to turn my thumbs in. So I use my elbow is loose, but my grip is strong. Cool? If I just go like this and I go really strong here, I can't get any manipulation onto his neck. It's just about brute force. So allow your elbow and your shoulder and your wrist to be loose, and you're just sinking your thumb down into the neck, and you can wiggle it in until it makes like your arm is on an angle like this rather than that. Cool? So you want your thumb pressing in behind the back of the ear almost. So now when I turn and I cut in, I cut, come down onto the neck, make the grip. Now there's already pressure, right? Yep. So what I do is I don't want to go all the way back to the other side. I just go back a little bit and I'm almost like I'm gonna touch my head to my hand that's on top. 1, 2, and look. Cool? Now, I explained this the other day as well about choking with cross chokes. Whatever way you're going to put your hands in, all right, like this or like this or like this, whatever it is you always want to go lean to the hand that's on top. All right, so if I go like this, and imagine I'm grabbing Mac's neck here, and I lean to the hand that's on the bottom, or I turn, you see my arms actually naturally open up. So if I go here, they open. But if I start to turn to the hand that's on top, my hand naturally closes. Cool? So you're always twisting to the side where your hand is on top. So when I go in, 1, 2, I stay on this side, just twist back a little bit to get the tension on the neck, and then I sit up and touch my hand. Cool? Super simple. The beauty of this choke is that if we flip over and we do it from the mount, it's the same idea, right? You go in, 1, all right? You come across and you just go onto the neck. You don't have to fiddle around with trying to get your hand inside or hand underneath. Actually, let's just turn this way, mate, because that way everyone can see. So I go one hand in, that's really easy to get. Most people can get the one hand in. The second hand is the one they fiddle around with. I can't get it in, can't get it in, look, his jacket is really tight to his body. So you just go down the arm, chop into the neck, make sure you're like cutting his head off, right? Okay, don't be like here and like this. Cut into the neck, grip, and then I lean my head over. I basically put my head all the way out on the ground, but I go on the side that my hand is on top. Look, I lean out, I tuck my feet, I lean, and the choke's already on. I don't have to do any pulling on his neck with any power. Cool? But if I go here, and I go here, and he bridge and rolls me now, I just keep the choke on. Cool? You don't have to bail out. Once you've got the choke, you just let them roll. Usually they roll the side that your second hand goes on. But if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like let's say he rolls me this side. I just stay on this side. Look, I just wiggle, bring him close, touch my head to my hand, and the choke will go on. Cool? So I do want you guys to muck around with both. Work from here. Remember, if he feels uncomfortable to go, I've got long arms, so it's pretty easy to get this. But if this is hard and you feel like you're down here, just sit up into your elbow, grip. Cool? Come down, go onto your angle, slide, karate chop his neck, grip, put it on. Then I want you guys to have when you're comfortable with that one, you can start to do the same choke from the mountain on as well. 1, cut, grip, and then if he rolls, boom, I just want you to keep touching your head to your hand on top. Cool? And then you got like sort of the same principles working, just in different positions. Cool? I have done, this happens a little bit too, and I'll bring it up, but it's less common, but it does happen. Like when you go here and they roll, boom, sometimes you'll sort of scoop out and you'll end up in sort of open guard. It's the same thing, I just keep bringing him in and just finish the choke from the open guard. Cool? We've got that added extra of putting our feet on the hips so we can extend the neck a little deeper, and then we just go for it. But when you guys are doing it, you'll feel it. You'll feel the choke lock in. But if your hand's like this, it's going to be difficult. So wiggle your wrists, get in, make sure this is like, wiggle it down, make sure there's no space, and then put it on. Cool? All right, guys, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Thanks, brother.
Always remember that strategy seminar.